In this week's parsha, we read about the giving of the Torah at Har Sinai. Vayechrad ha'am charada. There was dread and awe in the receiving of the Torah. And the Gemara derives halachas from this about how we learn Torah. We have to have an element of charada. Rav Soloveitchik used to always tell us that when we read the Torah publicly, we are reenacting Kabbalah HaTorah that we read about in Parashat Yitro. And it means that there's got to be an element of charada when we read the Torah publicly. In fact, the Maram Rutenberg paskins that we should be standing when we hear the Torah read publicly. All this is because the Shekhinah is there. And when we duplicate Kabbalah HaTorah by reading the Torah publicly, we invite the Shekhinah in, and therefore, according to that psak, we should be standing. It's interesting that there are two ways of reading the Azarya Dibros, Tab Elyon and Tab Tachton, indicating the possibility that we read the Torah in a way that duplicates the way it was given at Har Sinai, each one of the Dibros as a separate pasuk, as a separate entity. And if this be the case, then when we come to read the Torah, we should gather together as a tzibur, receiving the Torah, and we should have in mind this great kiyum, this fulfillment of Kiddush Hashem, as it were, at the time of Kabbalah HaTorah. And every time we read the Torah publicly and hear its beautiful sounds, we should be recommitting ourselves to all that the Torah is all about. So the Kriyas Torah is not just an experience of teaching Torah and learning Torah. If it were, then all these dimensions of charada would not necessarily apply, but since it's reenacting the Kabbalah HaTorah, therefore it's more than just studying of the Torah. To hear the Torah publicly, let the words of Torah penetrate into our souls, into our hearts, uplift us. And every time we hear the Torah, we should re-experience Matan Torah with charada and a great commitment to fulfill the Torah. I want to wish everyone a great week, and thank you.